Good afternoon. Welcome to Enduro 360. I'm your host, Chili White. Today we're here to say goodbye to the 2013 Husaberg FE350. We've already talked about this bike a fair bit, and we've had a lot of Husaberg activity between the FE and the TE300, so we'll make this one short, and we'll just tell you a little bit about our experience with it. Actually, I can sum up the experience pretty succinctly. It's been fantastic. Have almost 500 miles on this bike, a little over 20 hours, and not a hiccup or missed beat the whole time. Things ran fantastic, and we've really enjoyed riding it. High points on it, well, the most obvious one, of course, we've talked about suspension, the 4-chamber fork. Still playing with settings a little bit on this, taking more rebound out, adding a little more compression, and doing really well. I like that fork. It's just, most of the time it works quite good, and then it has its moments where it's just fantastic, which is really superior over the open chamber, particularly in its bottoming resistance. Goodies you get with the Husaberg, well, besides the 4-chamber fork, you get the nice machine clamps. Unique to it, say, versus KTM 350 XCW or EXC, they've removed the Kickstarter. There we go. The shock is actually more or less the same, but the valving's quite a bit different. Again, this bike is set up basically kind of like one spring rate stiffer than an XCW model. In the front, it's accomplished with springs. In the rear, it's accomplished with valving because it has the same 6.9 spring. So that's about it. The highlight of our bike was when Paul Kraus raced it at the King of the Motos event, finished second in the expert class, a very credible ride. He'd never been on the bike until basically when he went to the starting line. And he came back with very high praise for it. He talked about how well the bike was in the hill climbs. He got stopped in a couple of steep ones, and it would just chug right out of there and keep him going, so he was really happy with it. We threw a couple of protection parts on for that event. We've got the radiator guards in there and our disc guard down here from Bulletproof Designs. You can see those things took a bunch of scratching. Actually, the whole bike got a fair bit of scratching on it from that event, but no actual damage. It held up really well. The only other thing we did was threw some Ty Davis, some zip tie waterless coolant in there. And because, of course, it comes with the fan, it only lost a couple of ounces of coolant for the entire event. On this side, you can see one of the things we decided. The Husaberg came stock with a 52 tooth rear sprocket, and I decided that was just too low for almost anything, so we went to a more standard 50 with the Dirt Trick sprocket there, and there you can see our bulletproof swing arm protector. One of the things I kind of have to fault the Husaberg on also is I really don't care for these blue wheels. Boy, they sure look nice when they're brand new, but literally I think they get scratched sitting in the garage. These are a little worse than normal because of the King of the Motos. That actually definitely did a little scratching on everything on the bike. You can see a little more of it right there. But nothing broke, nothing had to be replaced. This bike is going back to KTM just exactly the way they gave it to us. Been very fortunate to have the 2013 350 EXC here at the same time, so when we go riding, almost every time I ride both bikes back to back. Performance on them is pretty similar. We've modified the EXC so it's got the XCW style map in it, so they're literally identical. The EXC KTM definitely has got a little more feel, a little more weight to it because we've got the big tank. Of course, it's got all the street legal equipment on it. But believe it or not, when you put them on the scales, that's only a few pounds difference. But nevertheless, the Husaberg always feels just a little bit lighter. Okay, well, as you can tell, the FE350 is just one more 350 that I really like. I love riding these bikes. I love their lightweight characteristics, the feel, the handling. Just like the KTM, it's a real rider's motorcycle. It's very responsive. It's not absolute powerhouse, but when it comes from getting to point A to point B, I can do it as fast on the 350 in most places as I can anything else. Is the Husaberg for you? Well, the 4-chamber fork is going to be enough to convince a lot of people right there. As for the subframe bodywork configuration, we've talked a lot about that elsewhere, so take a look at our airbox videos if you want to see more detail on that. It's not bad, it's okay. Personally, I like the KTM configuration just a little bit better, but that's your call. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you soon. As always, you can see more at enduro360.com.